There's so many veteran copywriters with different things to teach to the point where there's a lot of contradictions. For example, some say personalized cold emails are best. Some say it's a quantity game. How do you decide what the best advice to take is? How do you qualify it as the correct advice for yourself? Cheers, Joe. Just addressing this question now. How do you decide what the best advice to take is? The answer to this is the same answer I'd give for any type of advice. If you're looking for financial advice, I would ask someone who has the finances that I desire. If you're looking for health and fitness advice, I would ask someone with the health and fitness that I desire, and I'd take their advice. I'm looking for dating advice. I'm looking for writing advice, business advice, etc., etc., etc. The answer to that question is always the same. You should put a certain level of weight based on that person's relative position to you and how close that relative position is to where you actually want to be. If you want to be directly in their shoes, then you take their advice. So that does take a little bit of research. All right, second question. How do you qualify it as the correct advice for yourself? You have to have a certain sense of self, right? And what I mean by that is you got to actually know what you desire. And I think I saw a question just kind of asked me about how much money I make or something like that. And I talked to Nabil Aziz on my podcast, The Kyle Milligan Show, which is a separate YouTube channel, about this. And his advice was like, how much money do you need? Like, if you were to go get a job, what is it that you want or need? And then sort of work backwards from that. So the question says, how do you qualify as correct advice for yourself? Well, do you need millions and millions of dollars in the bank to not be depressed and to feel good about yourself? Or do you actually need like 80K, like 80,000? I remember one of my first years in copy, when I hit 80,000, or the first year in copy, when my income hit $80,000, I had like a crisis because I wanted to be this six-figure writer. That was my big goal. But when I hit $80,000, I actually lost like all my motivation to go to work. I remember it hit me. I was playing Super Smash Bros. In my living room, and I didn't go into the office that day. And I ran the numbers in my head because I was chilling. My rent was like paid for the year. Like my bills were all very minimal. I don't buy a lot. I don't carry debt. I don't do stuff like that. So when I hit $80,000 for the year so far, I was like, man, I'm not in a hurry to get to six figures. Like, I need to rethink my goals, because if money was my motivator, then it's failed me, because once I hit 80, I was comfortable. The end of that story is I decided to turn to the Deep Work philosophy by Cal Newport. It's a book by Cal Newport called Deep Work. It's amazing. And it made me start focusing on like, okay, I'm just going to address and handle deep work for about 2 hours a day. So that's a really long way to answer that question. You said something else like there's contradictions, like some say personalized cold emails are best. Some say it's a quantity game. That has to do... It's like anything, like for that kind of stuff, man, like to get a higher quality catch, you're going to have to come with a higher quality approach. Like, you get what you pay for sort of thing. Like if anything that comes too easily, might not be worth it. So if you're looking for like a big fish who's constantly getting bombarded, you might have to do more research. If you're working with small shrimp who nobody actually wants to work with or help at all, might not have to put as much effort into that. So that's another way to sort of think about that situation.